this rooster, his feathers got plucked by the other chickens.
We think we didn't know what happened. Didn't see it.
We had a similar something happen to one of the Brahmas for its tail feathers very early on. So it's a phase, it comes and goes, hopefully. But not good that one of our roosters is the one who's being picked on. Not that we want him to be aggressive, but
Now I have peroxide on my face.
Me too. Silly little birdie.
but we don't want our birds to get picked at, do we?
Especially the boys. Boys are supposed to be tough and defending themselves and other hens.
It could very well be one of our other believed roosters doing the
Big
damage.
Daddy Roo.
We're gonna take the rooster, our little Polish rooster, and we're hand selecting a couple of the docile ones from in here just to give him a little bit of company. Just 2 or 3 of these. And we're gonna put them in the chicken tractor for a little while and kind of isolate him and see how things are going. But man, these guys have made a mess of this place in a day. Now, just because their feet are a little bit smaller, we took some old remnants of some flooring that we tore out of the house. So it's just old scraps, no plan on using it. So we just put a little bit of that in there just to help them. But they really don't seem to need it, and it's just gonna make it messier for us. So we'll probably pull it out today.
I'll give you it.
So this is a look inside the Chickshaw with what we have. As of right now, this is their first 24 hours in here. We have a dust bath right over here. And then right here on their water, just to keep them from roosting on top, it's got a bucket full of a bunch of rocks. And that keeps them from sitting on top of it and pooping in their water. Hey, big fella. This is my buddy right here. This is my big rooster. He definitely comes and greets you. But overall, he's pretty friendly once you get onto him. So over there is where the dust bath would normally sit, but I moved those boards out a little bit so that you could fit the feeders in between these little slats in the boards and it doesn't slide around, doesn't get knocked around. Okay, so as we often do on the farm, we make changes in an instant. The feeding has kind of been a frenzy, so we just went ahead and put this dustpan, which is a temporary one. I'm going to get a different one here very soon, maybe later today. But we moved the dustpan back over to where it's supposed to be. The idea being is now we can take 2 feeders. The idea now is we can take 2 feeders and put one on either side of the shaw, because it's really turning into a feeding frenzy in here with the 31 birds that we have in here at feeding time. Also the fact that we only have 28 little slots in those feeders. We may even take that tray off just to make things a little bit easier. The things that we were trying to prevent before just aren't really relevant. So we're trying to figure out a better way to feed them and to get them everything that they want and need. They also, because we had a dozen other birds that are our neighbors that we're raising for her until they're big enough, they are now over into the shed, and it seems like they have forgotten how to eat. So they're not wanting to go through the little holes on their feeder. So we're going to give them a different type of feeder, therefore we can bring out more for over here. So late up to the minute, up to the second updates, and as we change things, we'll keep you informed what works and what doesn't. Okay, here comes the feed.
I'm going to put that one in, or can you put the other one on the side?
On the side?
It's very watery.
We try to put 2 feeders in here, and they've been feeding off of the red feeder, and for some reason they don't want, it's like they're going to it now, but they did not want to acknowledge the purple feeder for a little while when we put it in there. They were all mobbed on the red one, but leaving the purple one alone. Now it seems like they're all getting along, and we're trying to ease everybody's temperament. I like their aggressiveness, but to an extent. So when it comes to the nature of our chickens, we definitely don't mind a little bit of aggressiveness, let's say, because what we're trying to do is they're going to give us eggs, but their main job in life is tick control and fertilizer, bug controls, but specifically for ticks. So we want them to be aggressive and aggressively go after their food and really get in and scratch and do some stuff like that. It's kind of funny now that we've separated the 2 flocks into the big flock that's right here and then the smaller flock that's still in the shed. If you put in things like grass clippings or other little things, our birds just absolutely go nuts. They attack it and go crazy. The other birds, the smaller flock, they don't seem to mind, and kind of take their time, look around it, and that's fine for just your normal backyard penned up, cooped up chickens type of thing. That's fine, but that's not really what we want to do here. We want to have them inside the chickshaw and then release them during the day to go out and really work and really do the job, be chickens, and then put them back in the shaw at night, and that's the extent of it. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish. So we don't mind a little bit of aggressive nature in our birds. But to an extent, we don't want it to be so much that they're pecking at each other and starting to injure each other. We don't want that either. So it's this fine balance we're trying to play with, and we'll see how it goes. We're definitely learning along the way. As Gabriella checks on my rooster, we think it's a rooster. We honestly have no idea. We know that there's one rooster, the Polish chicken rooster, and we know about him. And the others are straight run, so we're not real sure. But it seems like a few of the barred rocks, at least one, is a rooster. So I can't remember how many of those we got, 6 or 7, something like that, or maybe 12. I can't remember. And then Australorps, they all look the same, so they're either all hens or all roosters. And then the Rhode Island Reds, there's 1 or 2 in there that could be roosters, but again, it's just too early to tell. We're just going to sit back and see. That's one of the reasons we got the large number of birds, so that we could. We got the large number of birds so that we could anticipate some of those being roosters, and then when they get full grown, well, it's time to eat them, time to put them in the freezer. And if they're not, they're good laying hens. Then we'll sustain those through the winter, but no rush. And now that we're in a cycle and we got a full flock, we can add to them in the summer and add to them during different years, and we won't have to keep them in our basement and do anything like that again.
Daddy,
so hopefully. Hi.
Can I say that my...
Whatever you want to say, honey. What do you want to say?
That...
Not so close. You're like, ah. Nobody wants to look up your nose. Yeah, right. Okay, so what do you want to say?
There's my rooster. I have a rooster. His name is Polly.
Polly, that's what we're talking about, the Polish rooster. Given in the nickname Polly. Or how do you pronounce it? Polly or Polly?
Polly.
Polly. Okay. And ducks doing what ducks do.
Yeah,
I think they're ready to go in for the night. They're kind of hinting because they've been living in there, and they go in there, and I don't know, but honestly, I think they're waiting on food before they go in there. And it seems like they've had enough, but maybe I'll give them a little
There's
something.
my pretty